head coach Mark Robinson, of course, always up for a game. This particular weekend, Cheltenham Town, the visitors in the FA Cup. If we can get past them, as the dangling carrot of perhaps a Premier League team in January.
Yeah, you know my feelings on the FA Cup, Rob. We've talked about it a lot, and it still remains the greatest club cup competition in the world for me, and it's exciting. So we're really looking forward to it. We know it's going to be a real tough game against Cheltenham, but obviously now we're excited and looking forward to it.
So, of course, it's a lovely place in the world to go to, Cheltenham. They've said some very complimentary things about us as well, but of course we've got to show that Robbo ruthless kind of streak on Saturday, though, haven't we?
Yeah. My wife's not from far away from Cheltenham, to be fair, so I know the area quite well. Yeah, so Michael Duff, obviously it was lovely what he said about us, which is nice, and we've got to say the same back really. The job he's done there is fantastic. You know, you look at their league position, and it's warranted. You know, we've watched several games of them, and they're really well organised. Really disciplined, but also play really good football, can play a real mixture of football. So we know how tough the challenge is going to be. And like you said, we're going to have to be at our very best and be ruthless if we want to go through to the next round.
Someone who's with them now, who I think deserves a great reception if we see him on Saturday, is somebody you know about, Chris Hussey.
Yeah, Chris was kind of, I remember, you know, when I started forming the academy, you know, Chris was known as the sort of only homegrown player then that sort of come through really. I think Simon had brought him into the club. So yeah, and I got to know Chris quite well, and was a fantastic player for us, and obviously moved on. So yeah, it'd be good to catch up with Chris, and obviously I believe he's been doing really well for them as well.
What kind of shape and what kind of team is for Saturday?
Yeah, we're all good, apart from obviously the obvious ones in Will Nightingale and PK and Shay. Everyone else is raring to go. So yeah, I've got a tough selection choice, which is exactly how you want it. The lads have trained brilliantly today, and yeah, they're going to have to make their mind up in the next few hours where we go with.
In particular, how's Egli coming along?
Yeah, if he trains like he did today, he's coming along very well. He's looking bright, and he's just hungry to get involved. So as I said, it's just one of those things, because he hasn't played for so long. It's just building up his training intensity, but he's certainly ready to have minutes. It's just how many minutes we get him initially. So yeah, we'll see. But no, he's looking really bright and powerful and strong.
Focus, of course, very much on the FA Cup, but just going back slightly into midweek. Disappointed, obviously, to have gone out of the London Senior Cup when it's an opportunity for players to be knocking on your door, really, isn't it?
Yeah, the lads, the more squad players that were involved were disappointed, and I couldn't go to the game. I had a club arrangement thing like to do, so I wasn't at the game, but I'll be watching it back. I'm going to watch it back tonight. But I know the lads come in with Rob and Simo after the game and said they were disappointed. It's one of those games, Rob, from what I've heard, you know, they've sat in deep, denied space in behind, and it's one of those games you've got to be patient, but you've also got to be creative, and you've got to make sure that your movement's fantastic, and that means making runs when you're not going to get the ball, and try and open up space for other people. It didn't sound like we did that well enough, because you do that and then you go 1-0 up, and then the game becomes very different. So it sounded like a bit of a frustrating evening for the lads, but one they learn from. So it doesn't make any difference to me in terms of, oh, you know, they're not now contenders to play. They are. I see it. I work with them every day. I see how bright they are. They were fantastic in training today. It's just part of their learning curve, and as I said, their attitude afterwards, they just wanted to come in and see what they could have done better.
The same Beaver, Zach Robinson and Luke Jenkins, what's the way forward with those three, perhaps?
So ideally, we'd like to get them out on loan, because, you know, Shay looks like he'll be back quicker than possibly we thought. Hopefully Will won't be too far away. So Luke's obviously been involved if needed, but ideally, no, we'd like to get them back out on loan for the rest of the season. Zach, you know, I've got interest in Zach already, which I've passed on to Michael Hamilton, and we need them out playing as much football as possible. So as long as we don't get any more injuries, then that's what I want for all three of them, so that they can have a chance of fulfilling their potential.
When we've not got obviously the London Senior Cup or the Surrey Senior Cup either as well now, you're still sort of considering perhaps having arranged games for some of these players, or you're happy with where they're at now?
No, I think, to be honest, if we get them all out on loan, that's the best thing. Obviously it would have been nice to have those other games like the London Senior Cup, but no, I mean, just to get them out playing regularly, we're seeing the benefits it's having on players like Elliot Bolton, and Alfie Bendel, you know, playing week in, week out. So that's the key. And Dylan Adjihursi and all the other lads out on loan who are doing great. So we just know we want to get them out as soon as I know that, you know, we're fine in terms of depth of squad, because we haven't got a big squad. Then we want to get them out and get them developing.
One final thing I want to ask you about whilst we're here as well, the story about Charlie White having made his recovery, and Wigan's Liam Richardson playing a big part in that as well. It's a very interesting story, it's very brave.
Yeah, it's incredible, and you know, we're all obviously trained now to do that, and it shows how important it is to be trained to do those things, and you mustn't take it lightly, because anything can happen. But incredible by Liam, because it takes an amount of courage, but I think if you're trained at anything, then your instincts step in, and obviously that's what he's done. But it's fantastic, and obviously we wish Charlie a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. Thanks very much indeed for your time, Robbo.
Right, cheers, Rob.